Welcome. It's time to let go of the burdens of today. Let your body sink into the softness of your bed. Today, we're going to listen to a story about letting go of the past, not holding on to what no longer exists. Close your eyes, take a deep breath in, and exhale slowly. Don't try to think. Just relax. Welcome to Lotus Whisper, where the ancient stories of the East meet the quiet path to sleep. Tonight, we turn our gaze not to what lies ahead, but to the deep, unshakable peace that is already here, now. The mind is a tireless creator of futures, some bright, most shadowed by worry, doubt, and fear. It spins tales of what might happen, what must be done, what could go wrong. These future selves, with their burdens and their needs, weigh heavily upon this present moment, robbing it of its simple, profound rest. But the great wisdom traditions, especially the path of the Buddha, offer us a radical relief. The future is an empty sky, and the worries are merely the clouds that a restless mind paints upon it. This moment, this breath, is all that is real. As you settle deeper into your mattress, feel the weight of your head, the release in your shoulders. Let the sounds around you be like the distant, harmless echo of a dream. We will journey through the quiet stories and profound insights of Zen, learning how to lay down the heaviest burden of all, the fear of a tomorrow that has not yet come. Close your eyes fully. Inhale the present. Exhale the future. Let us begin. If these quiet reflections bring comfort to your spirit, please consider subscribing to the Lotus Whisper channel. Your support helps us share this calming wisdom with others seeking peace on their journey to sleep. Part 1. The Weight of Unseen Tomorrows. Tonight, as the world outside softens into twilight, we begin our deep dive into the nature of worry, specifically the heavy, often paralyzing weight of unseen tomorrows. This anxiety about the future is perhaps the most universal form of human suffering, yet it is also the most illusory. Imagine, if you will, the deepest stillness of an ancient Zen monastery, nestled high in the mist-shrouded mountains of Japan. The silence there is not the absence of sound, but the presence of profound rest. The master, perhaps an old monk named Kenshin, sits facing a plain, unpainted wall in the zendo. He has no appointments for the day, no bills to pay, no reputation to uphold in the coming week. His life is utterly and entirely rooted in the moment of his sitting. Now, contrast that tranquility with the busy, cluttered room of your own mind when you are trying to fall asleep. The moment your head hits the pillow, your mind often launches itself forward, not a gentle drift, but a frantic leap into the realm of the possible future. We worry about the presentation next week, the conversation tomorrow morning, the eventual outcome of a difficult situation next month, or the far-off challenges of old age. These are not real events happening now. They are sophisticated, emotionally charged projections. They are stories we write and then believe in, instantly transforming ourselves from a relaxed, resting body into a worried, future-focused character in our own stressful drama. The Buddhist teaching on anicca, or impermanence, is the first and most powerful antidote to this future sickness. Anicca teaches us that nothing stays the same, nothing is fixed, nothing is solid. Think of the river. You step into the same river twice, but it is not the same water. You are not the same person. Everything is flowing. Our minds, however, crave certainty and stability. When we look to the future, we are subconsciously demanding permanence from it. We demand that the job market remains stable, that our health remains perfect, that the weather stays fair for our trip, that the people we love will never change or leave. This demand for a fixed, predictable future is an inherent contradiction to reality itself. It is like trying to hold a cloud in your hand. You can reach out, but the cloud is simply mist, continually reforming, dissipating, shifting. The moment you try to grip it, it vanishes, and you are left with the damp, empty feeling of disappointment. The future is precisely this cloud. It is made of the mist of infinite possibilities, of chance, and of change. When we fear the future, we are fundamentally afraid of change. We fear the loss of what we have now, or the arrival of what we don't want. But in Zen, the truth is celebrated. Change is the very life force of the universe. If things did not change, nothing could grow, nothing could heal, nothing could be new. If things did not change, this stressful moment of worry would never pass. Feel this deep truth sinking into your consciousness. The impermanence that you fear is actually your greatest ally. It guarantees that whatever difficulty you are anticipating, it, too, is already dissolving, already passing. The fearful future you project is constructed from fixed concepts, but it will arrive, if it arrives at all, as a fluid, messy, complex, and utterly new set of present moments. Let us consider the nature of your future self. When you worry about tomorrow, you are worrying for an imagined version of yourself. This imagined self is often weaker, less capable, and more vulnerable than the self who is breathing right now. The present self is strong. You have successfully navigated every challenge up to this very second. The self that will meet tomorrow's challenge will have the full resources of that moment, the clear light of morning, the energy of a new day, and the immediate context of the event. But the worrying mind will not wait. It insists on dragging the burdens of a non-existent day and placing them on the shoulders of this resting self. It is a profound act of mental unkindness. Picture a young novice monk, fresh from the busy city, arriving at Master Kenshin's monastery. The novice, let us call him Jiro, was full of ambition and anxiety. He worried, "Will I be worthy of the master? Will I ever grasp the great truths? Will I fail my meditation and be sent away?" Every sitting session was agony, his mind churning over these potential failures instead of resting in the present. One morning, after a week of agitated sitting, Jiro went to the master. "Master," Jiro whispered, his voice trembling, "I cannot find stillness. My mind is frantic. I am terrified of the future. I fear that I am simply not good enough, and that I will fail in my quest for the way." Master Kenshin was silent for a long moment, simply gazing out at the thin morning mist clinging to the pine trees. Finally, he spoke, his voice like the gentle trickle of water over smooth stones. "Jiro, tell me, when does this future you speak of actually happen?" Jiro paused, perplexed. "Well, tomorrow, or next week, or perhaps many years from now, master." "And when is tomorrow?" Kenshin asked, turning his deep eyes toward the novice. "It is when the sun rises again, master. It is the day after today." The master nodded slowly. And when does the sun rise again? Tell me the moment when tomorrow becomes today. Jiro thought hard. When the light first touches the horizon, master. No, Kenshin smiled gently. The moment tomorrow truly happens is when it is no longer tomorrow, but now. When that light touches the horizon, it is this moment. When you take the first breath of that day, it is this moment. When you face the supposed failure, it will happen in this moment. The master stood up and took a single perfectly balanced stone from a shelf, placing it in Jiro's palm. The stone is heavy, Jiro. It is the weight of one day. Now, imagine carrying 500 such stones, one for every day you fear in the next year. You would collapse, wouldn't you? Jiro nodded, his hand already aching from the single stone. Yet, existence only ever asks you to carry the one stone that is in your hand right now. The moment you worry about the 500 stones of the future, you are trying to carry them all at once. You are trying to live 500 moments in this single, small, precious one. Master Kenshin took the stone back. The great secret of Zen, Jiro, is this. You are always capable of handling this moment. The future is not one massive, terrifying event. It is an infinite series of single moments, each arriving in its own perfect time, each perfectly handleable. When you focus on what is needed right now, which for you is simply the rhythm of your breath, the future ceases to exist as a burden and becomes merely the unwritten possibility of the next breath. The master's teaching is profound and deeply comforting. The fear of the future is always the mind's attempt to solve a future problem with a present, insufficient energy. It is trying to lift an imaginary boulder with no real leverage. As you lie here, relaxing deeper, notice how your body holds worry. Does it tighten your jaw? Does it constrict your chest? Does it keep your legs tense, ready to run from a danger that is not here? Now, consciously instruct those parts of your body to let go of the future's grip. The jaw can soften. It does not need to clench against the difficult word that might be spoken tomorrow. The chest can expand. It does not need to brace against the shock that might arrive next week. The legs can sink down. There is nowhere to run because there is no present threat. This moment is safe. This bed is soft. This breath is steady. The practice of letting go of the future is the practice of deep, radical faith, not in a god or a doctrine, but in the completeness and sufficiency of this very moment. It is trusting that when the moment of truth arrives, you will also arrive, fully equipped, fully present. We are often like the person who carries a valuable jewel but is constantly terrified it will be stolen, spending all their time guarding the empty box where they think it should be, instead of enjoying the jewel they possess, which is the present moment. Let the worries about next week feel like the distant, faint sound of a bell ringing in a far-off village. You hear it, you acknowledge it, but you do not run toward it. You remain peacefully here, where the sound cannot touch you, where the future cannot hurt you. The practice of mindfulness, of zazen, sitting meditation, is nothing more than training the mind to remain in the present moment, dissolving the illusion of a solid past or a terrifying future. The future only has power over you when you give it the one thing it lacks, your attention, right now. Withdraw your attention from the stories of fear, from the projections of anxiety. Place it simply, gently, on the feeling of the breath entering and leaving your body. The breath is the ultimate boundary between the present and the non-present. It cannot be breathed in the past. It cannot be saved for the future. It is only ever inhaled now and exhaled now. Each time you worry, you are mentally traveling to a place that does not exist. Each time you return to the breath, you come home to the only place that is truly real. Let the weight of those 500 imaginary stones, the burdens of tomorrow, the next week, and the next year, fall from your shoulders. They were never yours to carry in the first place. Relax your forehead. Relax the small muscles around your eyes. You are safe. You are here. The only moment that matters is the one you are breathing right now. Everything else is simply the empty sky, waiting for the sun to rise and waiting for you to meet it, moment by single, beautiful moment. Feel the deep rest in this realization. The struggle ends when the grasping for a certain future stops. The peace begins when you trust the flow of the present. Sinking deeper, letting go. The koan of the single moment. Settle now, even deeper, into the soft cradle of your bed, allowing the wisdom of the previous reflections to permeate your rest. We move from the general concept of impermanence to a more profound, almost mystical realization of time itself, as articulated by the great Zen master Dogen in his teaching on being time, or Uji. This is the koan of the single moment. A koan, as you know, is not a riddle to be solved with logic, but a statement to be entered with your whole being, a gate to be passed through by releasing the grip of the analytical mind. The koan of being time challenges our fundamental, worrying assumption about the future, that it is a vast, empty expanse we must cross, or a dangerous mountain we must climb. Dogen taught, time is being, and being is time. This is not a philosophical abstract. It is a description of absolute reality as experienced in deep, unburdened meditation. In the ordinary, anxious mind, we perceive time as a river flowing past us. We stand on the bank, the present, and the past is gone, and the future is rushing toward us. We fear the future because we believe it is a powerful, separate entity that will drag us along against our will, perhaps over a frightening waterfall. This separates us from life, reducing us to passive victims of time. But Dogen asks us to completely reverse this perception. He teaches that time is not something external to us. Time is us. Every single moment is not a point on a line. It is a complete, perfect manifestation of the universe. Imagine a single flower blooming in the silent pre-dawn light. That flower is not waiting to be part of the future. It is not a memory of the past. It is fully flower in that moment. That single, perfect, blooming being is its time. When you are intensely worried about a problem that might occur next month, you are trying to pull next month's being, its time, its unique environment, its specific conditions, into this present moment. But Dogen's teaching confirms the great impossibility of this act. When you sit here, breathing, you are fully being this moment of quiet rest. This moment is not a half-formed bridge to the next. It is an entire, complete island of reality. It is a perfect sphere of time. If you are thinking of the future, You are not actually thinking about a real place or event. You are merely generating thought forms in the present moment. The entire worrying scene of tomorrow's difficulty is composed entirely of the energy of now. The future, as a source of stress, is merely a collection of clouds passing through the present sky of your mind. Let us return to the analogy of the Zen master, Master Kenshin. One day, a traveling scholar, known for his relentless ambition and constant planning, visited the monastery. He was constantly checking his instruments, his calendar, his sundial, his notes on future projects. He could not sit still for more than a few minutes. He found Master Kenshin sweeping the fallen autumn leaves from the stone path. Kenshin was not rushing. Each sweep of the broom was a smooth, deliberate, perfect movement. It was impossible to tell if he was sweeping the first leaf or the 1,000th. The scholar approached, agitated. "Master," he said breathlessly, "I admire your peace, but I must confess, I have no time for it. My life is a race against the clock. I am always planning for the future, trying to achieve my great goals before time runs out. How can I possibly stop and rest when the future demands so much from me?" Master Kenshin stopped sweeping and leaned on his broom. He did not look at the scholar, but at the single, wet, red maple leaf clinging to the stone near his foot. "Tell me, scholar," Kenshin asked softly, "when you plan for your grand achievements in the year to come, where exactly are you doing that planning?" The scholar frowned. "Why, here, of course, in my mind." "And when is here?" "Now, master, this present moment." "Exactly," Kenshin replied, finally looking up with a gentle, knowing gaze. "The future is a phantom that can only be engaged with in the present. You are racing against time, yet the only time you ever possess is now. Therefore, you are only racing against now." He picked up the red leaf. "Look at this leaf. When it was on the branch last summer, it was past leaf, waiting to become present leaf. Now it is here, a present leaf, waiting to become future dust. But in this hand, it is perfectly, absolutely, and completely leaf. It is its own entire moment, whole and unblemished by what came before or what comes next." Kenshin then turned his eyes to the scholar's expensive, intricate sundial, which the scholar carried on a chain. That instrument tells you where the sun will be, or where it was. But the true time, the time you live, is in the weight of the broom in my hands, the crisp sound of the sweep, the chill of the morning air on your face, the rhythm of your own heart. That is the time that is being. The master then delivered the koan, the essence of Dogen's wisdom. When you believe the future holds your happiness or your sorrow, you have lost all your time. The future has no being of its own. It is the name we give to the unfolding of the present moment. This realization is profoundly liberating. If the future is merely the next inevitable unfolding of the present, then your relationship to the future must change from one of fear and struggle to one of deep, relaxed observation and trust. There is nothing to rush toward, because the next moment will arrive exactly when it is meant to. There is nothing to prepare for that cannot be handled by the self that exists when that moment becomes now. Close your eyes and feel this truth. Everything you are, everything you have, everything you need to face the next instant is concentrated in this single, perfect point of time. If you worry about the state of your relationships next year, let the thought go. The only relationship that matters is the one you are having with yourself in the present moment, right now. If you worry about your finances 5 years from now, release the calculator in your mind. The only wealth you possess is the incredible, irreplaceable moment of deep rest you are allowing yourself to inhabit right now. To truly embrace being time is to dissolve the fear of not being ready. If the moment of difficulty arrives, you will be the being of that difficulty's time. You will be the necessary strength, the necessary wisdom, and the necessary action. You are always, inherently, capable of being the time you are given. The tension you carry in your body, that subtle readiness to fight, is your mind trying to stockpile present energy for a future war. But you cannot store the wind and you cannot store time. Energy is only renewed and spent in the present. By worrying, you are spending tomorrow's necessary energy today, leaving your present self exhausted and your future self equally unprepared. The Zen path teaches us to gather our strength by resting in the present. To be deeply rooted here and now is the only true preparation for whatever comes next. Feel your body become heavy. Allow your mind to become light. The moment is whole. It is complete. It lacks nothing. It requires nothing from the moment after it. Like Master Kenshin with his broom, let your consciousness be fully contained within the gentle action of your breath. Inhaling, that is the whole world. Exhaling, that is the whole world. There is no future self that is separate from this self. There is no future moment that is separate from this moment. The great flow of life carries you, not away from the present, but through an unbroken, seamless series of presence. Relax your shoulders. Let them drop away from your ears. Relax your stomach. Let the tension you hold in the center of your body loosen and spread out. There's nowhere to go. There's nothing to prove. There's no tomorrow to win or lose. There is only the sweet, steady, quiet reality of now, dissolving slowly into the deepest, most restorative peace. Rest in the timelessness of being, sinking, floating, resting. The farmer and the empty well. Draw yourself inward now, letting the awareness of your surroundings gently fade, like distant shoreline receding as you sail into a quiet sea. We have recognized that the future is simply a collection of present moments. But how do we live with that realization when uncertainty still presses down upon us? We seek not just calm, but an active, gentle way of being that embraces uncertainty. Let us journey to a small village bordered by pale, dry rice paddies and meet a farmer named Kenji. Kenji was a man of great effort, whose hands were permanently shaped by the handles of his tools. Yet his face was more deeply etched by worry than by sun. His village was enduring a long, cruel drought. The earth was cracked, pale, and unforgiving. Every day Kenji performed the same desperate ritual, He would walk to the center of his small field where his grandfather had dug a well, now famous in the village for being the deepest and usually the most reliable. He would carefully, hopefully, lower his bucket, the rope scraping against the stone sides, and listen. He was listening not just for the splash of water, but for the sound of his future being secured. But every time, there was only the dull, disheartening thud of the wooden bucket hitting the dry, dusty stone at the bottom. No splash, just silence, and the return of the dry, heavy, empty bucket. Kenji's worry was not simply about the physical lack of water. It was about the terrible, sweeping narrative his mind constructed around the empty well. He saw his children leaving, his wife's despair, the shame of losing his ancestral land, and the eventual, bitter taste of famine. His mind was racing a year ahead, living 1,000 moments of suffering that had not yet arrived. The sight of the empty well was not just a present condition. It was a devastating prophecy. He tried to pray. He tried to work harder. He tried to deny the fear. But the fear of the future, of the outcome, was so great it stole the strength from his arms. He would stand at the edge of the well, paralyzed, feeling the future closing in on him. One scorching afternoon, an old, wandering Zen monk passed by Kenji's field. The monk, whose name was Ryu, meaning dragon, saw Kenji standing motionless, the rope dangling uselessly into the darkness of the well. Ryu, with the simple wisdom that comes from a life lived purely in the present, approached the tormented farmer. "Good day, farmer," Ryu said, his voice light and free of judgment. "You have a fine, deep well. A good structure." Kenji sighed, the sound like the rasp of dry grass. "It is useless, monk. It holds nothing. It is an empty promise. It guarantees ruin." "Ruin?" Ryu asked, looking gently around the cracked field. "But the sun is setting, and you are standing here, and you are not ruined. You are whole." "But tomorrow, monk, or the day after, when the reserves are gone, what then?" "I am trapped by this emptiness. I must have water for the plants to grow, or my future is lost." The monk sat down on a warm, flat stone beside the well. He closed his eyes and simply began to breathe. Kenji watched him. Impatiently at first, then slowly, begrudgingly, he felt a measure of calm merely by witnessing the monk's perfect stillness. After a long silence, Ryu spoke, not moving, keeping his eyes closed. "Kenji, tell me your task for this hour." "My task," Kenji grumbled, "is hopeless. To till this dry, hard earth. To prepare the rows for seeds I do not know if I can even afford, using water I do not possess. It is a meaningless act." Ryu smiled slightly. "And where is your hoe?" "By the hut. Fetch it," the monk instructed, his voice now carrying a deep, quiet authority. "Do not think about the well. Do not think about the rain. Do not think about the harvest. Simply bring the hoe to the earth. Your only task is the act of tilling." Hesitantly, Kenji retrieved his heavy, wooden-handled hoe. It was familiar, solid, a trusted friend. He returned and stood next to the seated monk. "Begin," Ryu whispered. Kenji lifted the hoe. The handle felt good in his calloused hands. He swung it down. Thwack! The dry earth cracked open, releasing a faint, earthy smell of mineral and dust. He lifted the hoe again. Thwack! A rhythm began to assert itself. He kept working, and as the work continued, something miraculous began to happen, though it was entirely internal. His mind, which had been racing a year into the future, could no longer maintain the complex, fearful narrative against the simple, repetitive reality of the Ho strike. He was forced, moment by moment, to pay attention only to the resistance of the earth, the curve of his back, the inhalation on the lift, the exhalation on the strike. The body cannot till the earth in the future. It can only swing the Ho now. The monk's teaching was not abstract philosophy. It was a living instruction. The simple act of focusing completely on the present effort is the antidote to the fear of the future. The physical demand of the now crowds out the mental noise of the what if. Hours passed. The sun began its slow, majestic descent, painting the sky with fiery orange and deep violet. Kenji had tilled a large patch of earth. He was completely exhausted, drenched in sweat, but his worry had vanished. It had been dissolved by the physical reality of his work. He dropped the Ho and sank down beside the monk, breathing heavily. "Monk," he whispered, "I did not think about the well for the last 2 hours. I did not think about the famine. But now, the exhaustion is upon me, and the problem is still there. The well is still empty." Ryu finally opened his eyes, which were clear and profound, reflecting the sunset. "Yes, Kenji, the well is empty, and the effort is done. You have completed the time of tilling. Tell me, when you were swinging the Ho, were you capable?" "Yes, monk. My arms knew what to do. My back was strong enough." "You see," the monk said softly, placing a hand on the cool stone of the well's edge. "The fear of the future is the worry that when the next moment arrives, you will not have the strength to meet it. But the act of tilling proves the opposite. You were strong enough for every single swing of the Ho in these past hours, and that strength, that capability, is not stored up for later. It is simply present when the task is present. When the day of famine comes, if it comes, you will be the man who has spent every moment of the present tilling and preparing. You will be strong enough to face that day, not because you worried about it, but because you honored the time you were given before it." Ryu pointed to the well. "The well is empty, Kenji. Your mind wants to fill the well with water, which is the desired outcome. But your only true possession, your only true peace, comes from filling the day with effort. The effort is the only thing you control. The result is the work of the sky, the air, and the great forces of the universe." The monk was teaching the profound truth of karma, without karma vipaka, action without attachment to the fruit. We fear the future because we are desperately attached to a specific result. We want to control the outcome. But the wisdom of the farmer teaches us that the only true place of power is the present moment of action. As you lie here, resting, consider what your empty well is. Is it an empty bank account? An empty relationship? An empty calendar that fills you with dread? Your mind, like Kenji's, keeps dropping the bucket into this emptiness, seeking the splash of certainty, the sound of a guaranteed positive outcome, and every time it finds only the dry, dusty thud of uncertainty. The Zen instruction is to let go of the rope. Stop dropping the bucket. Stop demanding the future reveal itself. Instead, take up the Ho of your present attention. Your tilling is the simple, gentle act of resting, of breathing, of releasing the tension you hold. Focus entirely on the present effort, the soothing effort of allowing your weight to sink into the mattress. Inhaling deeply, you are fully present. Exhaling slowly, you release the burden of the past and the fear of the future. This act of breathing, this act of resting, is your perfectly worthy and necessary task for this hour. You are proving to your worried mind, swing by gentle swing, breath by slow breath, that you are capable of handling this moment. If you are strong enough to rest now, you are gathering the inner resource that will be present when tomorrow becomes now. Let your hands completely relax, no longer needing to grip the rope of the future. Let your legs become heavy, no longer needing to stand ready to run from the next day's challenge. The peace is found not when the well is full, but when you look at the empty well. Acknowledge the uncertainty, and then turn to the task at hand with focused, calm effort. This is the serenity of true acceptance. The dry, cracked earth of uncertainty is not a threat. It is merely the canvas upon which the universe continues to paint the present moment. And you, like the wise farmer Kenji, are simply being the rhythmic, peaceful effort of the now. Deeper and deeper, resting in the absolute sufficiency of this single, precious moment. The rhythm of the breath is the only sound that truly matters. Let the fear dissolve into the silence. The breath as the anchor to now. 18,000 words. Allow the images of the farmer and the dry well to recede now, leaving behind only the simple, quiet wisdom of present effort. We now turn our attention to the most immediate, reliable, and ancient tool for dissolving the fear of the future: the breath itself. The breath is the ultimate anchor to the present moment, a living testament to the truth of now. The Buddha's foundational teaching on mindfulness, found in the Satipatthana Sutta, begins with the instruction to observe the body, and specifically to be mindful of the breath. In the traditions of Zen, the breath is often called the original face. It is the reality of your life, stripped of all concepts, titles, worries, or ambitions. It is pure being. When the mind is terrified of the future, it is attempting to travel forward in time. But the body, through the breath, performs a powerful, natural resistance to this movement. The breath cannot be saved for tomorrow. You cannot inhale tomorrow's air today. You cannot exhale yesterday's breath now. Every single inhale and every single exhale is a completely new, unique, and irreplaceable moment of life. Lie back and feel the gentle rise and fall of your chest or abdomen. This movement is not an action you take. It is a phenomenon that is happening to you. A perfect, automated response of life supporting itself. When anxiety about the future strikes, it often feels like a constriction, a tightening in the throat, a shallow catch in the chest, a feeling of not getting enough air. This is the body's sympathetic nervous system bracing for the non-existent future threat. It is the physical manifestation of trying to fight tomorrow's battle today. The moment you consciously and gently lengthen your exhale, you are sending a powerful, ancient signal to your entire nervous system. I am safe. The threat is not here. I can relax. The elongated exhale is the body's language of peace. Let us consider a master who was once a young, highly nervous disciple named Ido. Ido constantly worried about his performance. He worried about saying the wrong thing, breaking the monastic rules, or failing to achieve enlightenment. His anxiety over the future, specifically the future judgment of the master, made him clumsy and forgetful in the present. The master noticed Ido's perpetual state of tension. He called Ido to his chamber, which was sparse and clean, warmed only by a single, carefully controlled incense stick that released a thin, blue-gray stream of smoke. "Ido," the master said, looking into the novice's worried eyes, "you are like a man trying to cross a river while carrying the boat on his head. You are overburdened." "But master," Ido pleaded, "how can I let go? If I don't worry about the future, how will I ensure my success?
If I don't plan, how will I achieve the way? The master pointed to the incense smoke, which was rising straight up in the still air. Observe the smoke, Ido. It is formless, weightless. It rises without effort. Now, watch what happens when you try to grasp it. Ido reached out and closed his hand over the column of smoke. The smoke dispersed immediately, leaving only a lingering, faint scent on his skin and an empty palm. What did you catch? The master asked. Nothing, master. It is impossible to hold. That, Ido, is the
future, the master declared. It is the formless smoke of possibility. You are spending all your present energy trying to grasp it, yet you always end up with an empty hand and a disrupted present. The smoke is only real, only beautiful, when you let it simply be, when you observe its flowing, momentary form. Then the master lowered his voice and gave Ido the simple, ultimate Zen instruction: the focus on the breath. For 1 week, Ido, you will forget all doctrines, all rules, all goals. Your entire life is reduced to the count of 10 breaths. Inhale, 1. Exhale, 2. Inhale, 3. When you reach 10, you return to 1. If your mind wanders to the future, you do not scold it. You merely observe the thought and gently return to the count. When the thought of tomorrow's chores enters your mind, notice it and say, "That is not breath 1." When the memory of yesterday's failure enters, say, "That is not breath 5." When the fear of a distant challenge rises, whisper, "That is not breath 8." The master taught Ido to use the breath as a constant, gentle veto against the mind's time-traveling anxieties. The breath is the boundary marker. Anything that falls outside the inhalation and the exhalation is, for that moment, irrelevant. A distraction from the only thing that is truly real. This practice is the simplest form of deep psychological relief. Worry requires complexity, narrative, and projection. The breath requires only simplicity and presence. When you are fully absorbed in the count, 1, 2, 3, the worried story cannot simultaneously run. The mind can do one or the other, but not both. Let this quiet wisdom settle over you. Now, let us apply Ido's practice to your resting body. Feel the cool air enter your nostrils. Follow it inward. Where does it go? Does it fill your belly? Your chest? As you exhale, feel the air leave your body, warm and released. Feel the gentle surrender of effort. Inhale, 1. Exhale, 2. Do not force the breath. Allow it to be exactly as it is, shallow, deep, quick, or slow. Your only task is to witness it, to honor it with your full, gentle attention. When a thought of the future, perhaps a small task you must accomplish, or a large worry you dread, drifts into your awareness, do not swat it away violently. That only gives it energy. Instead, observe it as you observe the incense smoke, formless, weightless, momentary. Then, without judgment, let the thought pass, and return with great tenderness to the number of your breath. Inhale, 3. Exhale, 4. The breath is the ultimate refuge. It is the unshakable certainty in a world of constant change. While everything around you, your circumstances, your relationships, your health, is subject to anicca, impermanence, the breath continues, steady and true, right up until the last moment. It is the constant proof that life is happening, right here, right now. To be fully present with the breath is to live at the center of the turning wheel of time. Everything else spins outward, the frantic future, the haunting past. But the hub of the wheel, the center of the breath, remains perfectly still. Sink into that stillness. Imagine the sound of the wind moving through the tall pines on the monastery hill. The wind is the sound of time rushing past. But beneath the wind, there is the silent, solid ground. The breath is that ground. Feel the sensation of the air filling the spaces in your body. It is healing. It is nourishing. It is sufficient. This breath needs nothing from the next breath. This moment needs nothing from the next moment. The future is completely irrelevant to the quality of this specific inhale. Let your hands feel heavy and relaxed on the mattress, palms open, releasing any need to grip or control the flow of the river. You are not rowing the boat. You are simply resting in it, trusting the current. The fear of the future is the mind's desperate desire to solve a problem that is not here yet. The breath gently and firmly insists, be here now. All power is here now. Rest and let the quiet, steady rhythm of your breathing dissolve the sharp edges of your worries. Let the numbers 1 to 10 be the soft, silent mantra that ushers you into the deepest, most restorative sleep. Safe, present, breathing. Let go of the need to be prepared for the future. Simply be rested in the present. That is the truest preparation. Deeper and deeper with every gentle exhale. The Zen Master and the borrowed umbrella. Draw your awareness even further into the sanctuary of the moment, letting the simple rhythm of your breath be the only thing you truly hold. We now explore the profound freedom that comes from non-attachment, especially the non-attachment to the security we project onto the future. This wisdom is beautifully captured in the story of the Zen Master and the borrowed umbrella, illustrating the lightness of needing nothing from tomorrow. Imagine an ancient village in Japan where the rains could be sudden and fierce, turning the dusty paths instantly into muddy streams. In this village lived a renowned Zen master named Tessin. Tessin was known for owning almost nothing. His robe was patched, his bowl was simple clay, and his small hut was furnished with only a thin sleeping mat. One morning, Tessin left his hut for the village to beg for alms. As he stepped out, a sudden downpour began. A villager, seeing the master start on his way without protection, rushed forward with a beautiful lacquered umbrella. It was a sturdy and expensive item, meant to last a lifetime. "Master Tessin," the villager called out, bowing deeply, "please accept this umbrella. The rain is heavy, and you must stay dry." Tessin accepted the umbrella with a gracious smile. "Thank you for your kindness," he said. "I shall return it to you upon my return." He went out into the rain, conducted his alms round, and returned in the late afternoon. The sky had cleared, leaving the air fresh and cool. Tessin returned the umbrella to the villager, who accepted it with a grateful heart. The following morning, the sun was shining brightly, promising a day of clear skies. Master Tessin set out again. As he left, the villager, remembering the master's kindness, rushed forward again. "Master Tessin," he said, "today the weather is fine, but one never knows. Please, take the umbrella. It is better to be prepared for the sudden change." Tessin smiled gently and shook his head. "Thank you for your thought," he replied, "but the umbrella is yours, not mine." The villager was confused. "But master, you took it yesterday. It is a loan, of course. Please take it again." Master Tessin paused, looking out at the sunlit path. Yesterday, when the rain was falling, the umbrella was necessary for that moment. I used it and returned it. Today, the sun shines. If I carry the umbrella today for fear of tomorrow's rain, then the umbrella is no longer a tool of the present, but a burden of the future. I would be walking in the sun, yet carrying the memory of the rain. He took one quiet step forward onto the sunny path. The greatest freedom, Tessin continued, his voice soft but clear, is the lightness of not needing to possess tomorrow's solution today. When the rain falls again, a kind person, or my own ingenuity, or a nearby roof will be present for that moment. If I cling to the umbrella now, I am clinging to the fear that the future moment will not provide. The villager stood holding the umbrella, suddenly feeling the weight of his own constant preparation. The mental effort spent ensuring all future possibilities were covered. This story, simple as it is, carries the weight of a powerful koan regarding our attachment to the future. Our anxieties are often the mental equivalent of carrying a heavy, borrowed umbrella on a sunny day. What is your borrowed umbrella? It is the endless planning, the excessive saving, the controlling behavior, the sleepless nights spent rehearsing future conversations. It is the belief that by worrying about the future, you are somehow preparing for it. The Zen perspective is radical. True preparation is simply being unburdened and fully present now. When we fear the future, we are subtly telling ourselves that when the difficult moment arrives, we will be incapable, alone, or lacking the necessary resource. We try to preemptively gather that resource, be it money, reputation, influence, or guaranteed comfort, today. But this effort to secure the future is an endless, agonizing cycle. The future, by its very nature, is infinite, meaning there is an infinite number of things that could go wrong. No amount of present planning, no matter how exhaustive, can ever cover every possibility. Trying to do so is the definition of mental exhaustion. The Master teaches us a different form of security, the security of radical trust in the present moment's inherent completeness. When the rain of the future actually begins to fall, you will be a different person. You will have the full context of that situation. You will have the clarity and resourcefulness that comes only from being fully in that present moment. The solution will present itself. Maybe a villager will offer you an umbrella, or perhaps the rain will be gentle, or maybe you will simply enjoy the feeling of the cleansing water. To let go of the umbrella is to trust the flow of provision in your life. It is the realization that the universe, or life, or your own inherent wisdom has always provided what was necessary precisely when it was necessary. You are here, now. You survived yesterday. You are capable of handling today. Feel the deep relaxation that comes from dropping the mental weight of all those borrowed umbrellas. You do not need to carry the solution for next month's problem today. Let your hands unclench. They do not need to grip a mental rope or a future plan. Imagine yourself sitting peacefully in a quiet, sunny garden. A gentle breeze passes over you. In your mind, you see an expensive, intricate umbrella leaning against the wall. It represents your chief worry about the future. Now, simply notice the umbrella. It is a good tool, but it is not needed now. Acknowledge its presence, but refuse to lift it. Refuse to carry its weight. Settle into the perfect, unburdened sufficiency of this moment. The only requirement of this moment is that you rest. The Zen approach to life is one of deep, relaxed efficiency. When the task is present, the energy is present. When the rain is present, the umbrella is found. Trying to match a non-present energy to a non-present task is the definition of anxiety. In this quiet space, you are practicing the ultimate preparation for a secure future. You are securing your present peace. Because you are resting now, you are replenishing the deep well of your inner resource. Because you are unburdened now, your mind is clearer. This relaxed state is the most powerful tool you can possess for meeting any challenge that the future may hold. Let the worries about future lack dissolve. They are just the heavy mental weight of an umbrella that belongs to a day that has not yet dawned. Sink fully and completely into the feeling of profound lightness. You are free. You need nothing right now but the next breath. Let the mattress hold you. Let the darkness comfort you. Release the future. The sun is shining in your inner world. Rest. Deeper, lighter, free. The sound of one hand and the whispers of worry. Settle now into a deeper layer of rest. We move to one of the most famous and profound koans in the Zen tradition, the sound of one hand. This koan, famously posed by Master Hakuin, is a powerful metaphor for understanding the nature of anxiety about the future, which is essentially the attempt to find substance where there is only silence. The koan asks, "Two hands clap and there is a sound. What is?" The sound of one hand. The logical mind immediately struggles. It knows a clap requires two hands, a cause and effect interaction. One hand alone can only make a dull thud or a whoosh of air, not a sharp, definitive sound. The koan is designed to exhaust the intellect, to force the mind beyond its usual dualistic mode of thinking, past and future, security and danger, success and failure. Our worrying mind is exactly like a hand trying to clap by itself. Think about the nature of worry concerning the future. It is a dualistic activity. It requires two components that must be brought together to create the sound of suffering. The present hand, your current state, your current energy, your current capability. The future hand, the non-existent, projected problem, failure, or difficulty. Worry is the frantic, repeated attempt to bring the present hand and the future hand together now. You try to solve the problem of next week, today. You try to fix the future outcome in this moment. But since the future hand is not actually here, it is merely a mental projection. The attempt results in a frustrated, empty effort. This strained effort creates the dull, irritating mental noise that prevents sleep. The sound of one hand is silence. The answer to the koan is to stop trying to clap. The master's wisdom here is incredibly soothing. He is not asking you to solve the mystery of the future. He is asking you to observe the absurdity of your attempt to solve it now. Let us observe a disciple named Soto, who was relentlessly tortured by the fear of being misunderstood. He worried constantly about what he had said yesterday, and even more about what he might say tomorrow. His mind was a continuous, frantic rehearsal of future conversations and a tortured reliving of past ones. He went to Master Hakuin exhausted and desperate. "Master," Soto pleaded, "I am trapped in the noise of my own fear. My mind claps all day and all night, creating sound that never allows me to rest. How can I silence this constant, agonizing clap?" Hakuin looked at the anxious Soto, and without a word, slowly brought his two hands together and made a loud, sharp clap. "There," Hakuin said, "that is the sound of two hands. It is decisive. It is loud. It happens in the present, and then it is gone." He then held up one hand, palm open. "Now, make that same sound with only this hand." Soto tried. He waved the hand in the air. He slapped his thigh. He struck the palm against the wall. Each time, the sound was weak, distorted, or painful. "You see, Soto," the master explained, his voice like dry leaves rustling, "you can never create a true, clean sound of suffering with only one hand. Your suffering about the future is not a true sound. It is a whisper of worry, a faint, irritating sound you create by repeatedly striking your present self against an imaginary future object. The only way to silence the whisper of worry is to stop trying to make the sound altogether. The future only hurts you when you give it solidity, when you treat it as if it is here now, ready to strike. But it is not here. It is the missing hand." The ultimate resolution to the koan, the insight that brings deep peace, is the complete and radical non-doing. It is the realization that if you simply rest your present hand, if you simply stop the frantic searching for the future problem, there is only perfect, profound silence. The future only has noise when you expend your energy trying to interact with it. As you lie here, resting, recognize that every anxiety is an attempt to clap with one hand. Worrying about money next month? That is your present mind trying to strike the hand of future lack. Stop the motion. Rest the hands. Fearing failure in an upcoming task? That is your present mind trying to strike the hand of future incompetence. Release the tension. Rest the hands. Dreading an inevitable change in your life? That is your present mind trying to strike the hand of future loss. Let go of the need to control. Rest the hands. The moment you cease the effort to control, to solve, or to rehearse the future, you are no longer making a noise. You fall into the stillness that Hakuin pointed toward, the sound of one hand, perfect silence. This silence is not empty. It is full of rest, full of potential, full of the deep, quiet trust that life will unfold exactly as it needs to, and that you will be ready for it. Relax your face. The tension in your eyebrows, your jaw, and your forehead is often the physical manifestation of trying to mentally clap. Let the muscles soften and become smooth. The silence of the Zen hall is the profound realization that everything is already settled. The past is done. The future is unwritten. Only the stillness of now remains. You are not being asked to fight your worries. You are simply being asked to stop feeding them. Your attention is the food of worry. Withdraw your attention from the frantic search for the second hand and place it gently back on the comfort of your own body, the weight of your head on the pillow, the slow, rhythmic dance of your breath. Let the whispers of worry fade into the background. Let them be like the faint echo of a sound that never truly existed. Rest in the vast, unbroken stillness that lies beneath all mental noise. The future is silent. Let your mind become silent with it. Sinking, resting, silent. The empty bowl and perfect contentment. Allow the silence of the one-hand koan to deepen your state of peace. We now contemplate the virtue of perfect contentment, the immediate cure for the fear of future scarcity. This wisdom is found in the Buddha's ancient practice of the alms round, or pindapata, which centers on the empty bowl. The fear of the future is often a fear of lack, a belief that tomorrow will bring a deficiency of resources, health, or love. This fear drives the mind to frantically grasp, accumulate, and hoard both physically and mentally. We try to fill the bowl today with enough for all the tomorrows. Imagine the historical Buddha, Shakyamuni, walking barefoot each morning, his simple iron bowl held before him. He did not know which house would offer food or what kind of food it would be. He did not worry that the next village might be hostile or that the harvest might fail. His entire economic system was based on radical, present moment trust. The bowl itself is the central symbol. It is designed to be empty. It only becomes full temporarily for the single, immediate meal. The monk eats what is given, cleans the bowl, and returns it to its state of beautiful emptiness. This emptiness is not a symbol of destitution. It is a symbol of freedom. The empty bowl has no requirements for the future. It is not burdened by the weight of expectations. It simply exists in the present, ready to receive whatever life offers in the next moment, and perfectly content with the bare sufficiency of this moment. Let us consider a young monk named Daichi, who was tasked with overseeing the monastery's modest stores of rice and vegetables. Daichi was a meticulous keeper of accounts and, unfortunately, a terrible worrier. He lived in constant dread of running out of supplies. He would count the stores late into the night, projecting the monastery's needs months into the future, imagining scenarios of famine and cold. His fear of future lack made him miserly and tense in the present. He often snapped at the cooks for using too much oil or too many spices. One winter morning, the master called Daichi to the kitchen. The master pointed to the communal rice pot, which was entirely empty, having been scrubbed clean after the morning meal. Daichi, the master said, "Look at the empty pot. What do you see?" Daichi nervously cleared his throat. "I see a lack, master. I see the need to immediately refill it for the next meal. I see the potential for hunger if we do not hurry." The master smiled, a gentle, knowing smile that crinkled the corners of his eyes. "You see fear, Daichi. I see rest. This pot is resting. For the hours it is empty. It is not serving. It is not cooking. It is not demanding attention. It is in a state of perfect contentment, utterly sufficient as an empty pot." The master then picked up a simple clay tea bowl, also completely empty. When we fear the future, Daichi, we try to fill the bowl of this moment with the provisions meant for the hundreds of moments to come. This makes our present heavy, our movements frantic, and our appreciation nil. We are so busy worrying about the lack tomorrow that we fail to taste the sweet sufficiency of what is here now. He then told Daichi about the great lesson of pindapata. When the Buddha held his empty bowl, he was teaching the path of aparigraha, non-possessiveness. He was teaching that security does not come from having, but from receiving. To walk with an empty bowl is to walk with the faith that the universe will provide the single necessary meal for the single necessary moment. When the next hour of hunger comes, the next hour of provision will also come. They are inseparable. The master looked deeply at the nervous monk. Your worrying about next month's rice is making you miss today's fragrance. It is making you unkind. True security is not the certainty of a full warehouse. It is the absolute certainty that you can be content with the present reality, whatever it may be, full or empty. The wisdom here is simple and profoundly calming. The fear of future lack is cured by the present experience of sufficiency. As you lie here, resting, your needs are utterly met. You have air to breathe, you have warmth, you have a bed to rest on, your heart is beating. This moment is a complete, abundant moment. When the mind projects an image of future lack, of financial strain, of loneliness, of sickness, it is demanding that this present moment solve a future problem. It is demanding that your now be so full it spills over and secures 1,000 days ahead. But the Zen master invites you to accept the present moment as your empty bowl and to be profoundly grateful for the deep rest it holds. This empty bowl is free of burden. Let your focus settle on your body and your surroundings, sensing the absolute sufficiency of your current situation. Your need for oxygen is met. Your need for physical support is met. Your need for stillness is met. Feel the deep, quiet trust that just as the breath always follows the inhale, so too does the provision always follow the need. Life is an unbroken sequence of receiving and releasing. If you are struggling with a worry about future lack, gently repeat this quiet mantra. I am content with this moment's sufficiency. I need nothing more than this breath. My bowl is empty, and I am free. Allow your hands to rest, palms open, releasing the frantic need to grasp or hoard future security. They do not need to be tense. The present moment requires nothing of them. Sink into the deep peace that comes from knowing you are always, utterly, provided for in the only moment that ever exists. The future will bring its own provisions when it becomes now. Until then, rest in the perfect contentment of your empty bowl. Releasing and resting. The raft and the shore. Settle your body further into the quiet surrender of sleep. We now turn our attention to one of the most practical and clarifying parables of the Buddha, the parable of the raft. This teaching directly addresses the mind's tendency to cling to what is known, even if what is known is a source of burden, a perfect mirror for our attachment to the fear of the future. Imagine a journey along an arduous crossing of a vast turbulent river. On the far shore, you know there is safety, peace, and abundance. The river is deep, swift, and full of dangers. Knowing you cannot swim across, you gather wood, vines, and reeds. With great effort, you build a sturdy raft. The construction of the raft, your planning, your education, your savings, your past successes requires enormous energy. Finally, you push off, and with focused, present effort, you paddle across the dangerous water. You use the raft exactly as it is intended, as a tool for crossing. Now, imagine you reach the far shore. The ground is dry, the trees are offering shade, and the water is clean. The journey is complete. What do you do with the raft? The Buddha's teaching is explicit. You leave the raft behind. A person of wisdom would not drag the heavy, unnecessary wooden structure up the shore. They would not strap it to their back and continue their journey inland. They would not fear that if they left the raft, the river might suddenly reappear, or that they would need to cross back later. They would recognize that the raft was a means, not an end. To carry the raft after reaching the safety of the shore is to turn a tool into a crippling burden. Our fear of the future is precisely the act of carrying the heavy, unnecessary raft of past anxieties, past solutions, and future projections, even when we are safely resting on the shore of the present moment. The raft represents the Dharma, the teachings, the practice, and all the mental strategies we use to cope with life. But even these sacred tools must be put down when they are no longer necessary. Consider the student who worries about failing an exam. The raft is the act of studying, the planning, the late nights. The river is the uncertainty of the material. The shore is the completion of the exam. After the exam is over, the worry about the outcome, the endless rehashing and projection of the final grade, is the act of carrying the raft up the hill. The tool of preparation, studying, is now replaced by the burden of worry. The fear of the future is the mind's refusal to trust that the journey is continuous. We reach the safe shore of this moment, yet we cling to the raft, convinced that the safety is temporary and that we must be prepared to cross the non-existent river again immediately. This prevents us from enjoying the profound safety and quiet sufficiency of the now. A master once watched a young novice named Haruki who could not stop counting the monastery's roof tiles. Haruki was deeply worried that a sudden, unprecedented storm would demolish the roof, leaving the community vulnerable. He spent his days calculating load-bearing weights, charting storm patterns, and estimating the cost of replacement tiles. A frenzy of planning that stole his sleep and focus. The master finally found Haruki late one night, holding a tally sheet and whispering numbers. "Haruki," the master said gently, "what is this deep work that keeps you from rest?" Haruki explained his terror of the future storm and his duty to prepare. The master took the tally sheet and slowly tore it into small pieces, letting them drift to the floor. "The roof is sound, Haruki. The weather is calm. The present moment is the safe shore. Your planning was the necessary raft when you were considering the construction, but the storm you fear is a river that does not exist now." The master picked up a piece of the tally paper. "Your worry about the future storm does not prevent the rain. It only prevents your rest. When the storm comes, if it comes, you will be here, on the new shore of that moment. Your strength will be required then to secure the temple. But if you exhaust your strength worrying now, you will have no energy left when it is truly needed." He then gave Haruki the profound instruction: "Leave the raft at the water's edge." The raft of worry, the intense, strained mental effort to control the uncontrollable, is only useful if you are in the middle of a true present emergency. Since you are lying safely in your bed, breathing quietly, you are on the shore. The journey is paused. The river is far away. The instruction for you, resting deeply now, is to gently lay down the heavy, wooden raft of your anxieties. What are you clinging to? Are you clinging to the raft of the plan, terrified that if you relax, the details of tomorrow will scatter and be lost? Gently set the plan aside. Trust that when tomorrow becomes now, your clear, rested mind will remember what is necessary. Are you clinging to the raft of the past, convinced that past failures guarantee future ones? Gently release the past. The raft that helped you cross that previous river is not needed for this moment of rest. Feel the heavy wood leaving your hands. Feel the muscles in your back and shoulders relax, as they are no longer required to bear the weight of all the world's potential challenges. You have made it to the shore. The shore is the present moment. It is solid. It is safe. It is here. This safety requires no effort to maintain. It is simply the nature of now. Let your breath flow deeply and evenly. With every inhalation, you take in the certainty of this moment's peace, With every exhalation, you release the burden of the raft, the need to struggle against a future that is not here. Sink deeper into the mattress, resting in the wisdom that true security is not found in endless preparation, but in the relaxed, unburdened presence of now. You are ready because you are here. Let go of the raft. Rest on the shore. Deeper rest, lighter spirit. The silent moonlight in the garden. Allow your awareness to drift away from the intellectual effort of the parables and the concepts. We move now into pure, gentle description, into a meditation on the tranquility of a traditional Zen garden at night. To lull your senses into the final, deep surrender to sleep. This part is a complete sensory and imaginative practice, focusing on stillness as the perfect preparation for the unknowable future. Imagine yourself now, no longer as a burdened traveler, but as a silent observer, standing on the wooden veranda of a small, rustic tea house overlooking a Karisan sway, a dry landscape Zen garden. The air is cool, carrying the faint, clean scent of damp moss and pine needles. The day has completely released its grip. The garden is bathed in the soft, silent illumination of a full moon, a silver light that touches everything with an otherworldly stillness. Before you lies a landscape crafted by human hands, yet perfected by time and nature. It is composed entirely of raked white gravel, large silent stones, and isolated patches of ancient moss. Focus on the gravel. It has been meticulously raked by the monk's wooden tool, creating perfect flowing patterns. These patterns represent the great rivers and seas, the endless flow of time and change. But under the moonlight, they are utterly motionless. They are fixed, a symbol of the present moment's stillness amidst the illusion of movement. Allow your mind to trace one of these smooth, flowing lines in the gravel. Follow it slowly, from one end to the other. Notice how it seems to flow, yet it is utterly still. This is the nature of the future as seen through the eye of Zen. It appears to be rushing toward you, but in the reality of the present, it is simply a pattern waiting to be perceived, absolutely motionless until your consciousness touches it. Feel your body become as heavy and still as the largest stone in the garden. This stone has endured centuries of storms, heat, and cold. It makes no attempt to predict the future. It simply exists, massive and silent, rooted in the earth. It is the perfect embodiment of immovable mind, the place within you that is never disturbed by the winds of change or the shadows of tomorrow. Let your hands and feet become heavy like the stone, utterly settled in their place of rest. Now, lift your gaze to the patches of moss clinging to the base of the stone. Moss is a plant of patience, of slow, steady persistence. It does not rush. It does not worry about next year's dry season. It simply absorbs the dew of the night and continues its slow, quiet existence. It is the ultimate expression of living completely, fully, in the present. Trusting the environment to provide the next necessary drop of moisture. Imagine breathing in the deep, quiet patience of the moss. Inhale the stillness. Exhale the frantic, rushing energy of worry. Look up at the moon itself. The moon is the great symbol of suchness, tathata in Sanskrit. It simply is. It shines on everything equally, the palace and the hovel, the rich harvest and the dry earth, the happy person and the anxious person. The moon does not discriminate. It does not ask about your past mistakes or your future plans. It simply gives its soft light to the present moment. The moon teaches the profound truth that your current state of being, your worth, your safety, your peace, is not dependent on the conditions of tomorrow. You are illuminated. You are sufficient simply because you exist now. Let the silver light of the moon rest on your closed eyelids. Feel its gentle coolness sinking deep into your mind, calming the frantic churning of future thoughts. The greatest fear of the future is the fear of darkness, of the light going out, of life becoming difficult and confusing. But here, in the darkest time of night, the moon assures you that even in the absence of the harsh, demanding sun, a gentle light of awareness and guidance remains. The wisdom you need, the resourcefulness you require, will shine forth when the time is right. There is no sound here, except the faint, almost imperceptible drip of water from the eaves of the tea house. A simple, rhythmic reminder of time's passing, but not time's threat. Let that simple drip, drip, drip become the metronome of your surrender. Drip. The worry about money is released. Drip. The fear of failure is released. Drip. The pressure to predict the outcome is released. There is nothing left to do. The garden is perfectly still. The stone is heavy. The moss is patient. The moonlight is silent and constant. You are being absorbed into this silent landscape. You are no longer the one worrying. You are the one witnessing the perfect stillness that already exists beneath the surface of all worry. Let your consciousness dissolve into the cool silver-gray color of the moonlight. Let it wash away the sharp, painful colors of anxiety. Settle, sink, rest. The future cannot touch you here, in the heart of this ancient, silent garden. Your only task is to be still, like the stone, and to trust, like the moss, that the moment will provide all the light and nourishment you need. Deep rest, profound silence. The final turning, trusting the flow. Draw this meditative journey to its completion, allowing all the previous concepts, impermanence, the sufficiency of the moment, the lightness of non-attachment, the silence of the one hand, to merge into one final, continuous flow of deep rest. This final part is about the ultimate surrender, the deep, relaxed trust in the unfolding of existence, known in Zen as tathata, or suchness. Tathata means thusness, or suchness. It is the acceptance that everything is exactly as it is, in this moment, and that the future will arrive in its own perfect, unchangeable suchness. This is not a passive surrender to fate, but an active, gentle trust in the intelligence of the universe. It is the wisdom of the ancient river. Imagine a mighty river, vast and slow-moving, carving its way through a timeless valley. The river does not rush, nor does it worry about where it is going. It does not look at the upcoming bend and ask, "Will I be able to turn?" It does not look at the looming mountain and wonder, "Will I be strong enough to carve a path through?" The river simply flows. The river is the embodiment of suchness. It trusts its own nature. When the bend arrives, the river is the being of the turn. When the mountain arrives, the river is the being beginning of the carving force. Its strength is not derived from planning, but from its absolute, effortless surrender to the present terrain. Our fear of the future is the mind trying to get out of the river and walk ahead on the dry bank to scout the dangers, then trying to frantically run back to warn the floating body. It is an exhausting, futile, and entirely unnecessary effort. The wise person, the one who practices tathata, is the one who rests completely in the boat, hands-free, trusting the flow. They know that when the current quickens, they will be the quickened flow. When the waters widen, they will be the widened waters. They are inseparable from the journey. Consider the story of a very old Zen master named Soto, who was approaching his 100th year. He was known for his profound cheerfulness, yet a visiting young scholar could not reconcile this with the master's advanced age and the evident physical decline. The scholar approached Soto while the old man was basking in the late afternoon sun. "Master Soto," the scholar asked, his voice full of youthful anxiety, "how can you be so profoundly joyful? You must be aware that your life is drawing to its close. Do you not fear the ultimate, unknowable future? Do you not fear the great final crossing?" Master Soto's eyes, though dimmed by age, held a playful light. He laughed, a soft, dry sound like pebbles rolling in a stream. "Fear, young man? Why would I fear the river?" The scholar pointed to a small, worn, hand-sized stone resting near the master's foot. "Master, imagine that stone. If I throw it into the deep, churning river, will it not sink? Is the end not sinking?" Soto reached down and gently picked up the stone. "The stone sinks, yes, but I am not the stone, young man. I am the river." He opened his hand and dropped the stone. It hit the ground with a soft thud. Soto continued, his voice now deep and resonant. "For 99 years I have been the flow. I have been the bending and the carving. I have been the silence and the movement. The past does not hold me. The future does not pull me. I am only the life that is moving now. When the final crossing comes, when that moment becomes now, I will not be a passive stone thrown into the water. I will be the entirety of that experience. I will be the awareness that is passing, the life that is yielding, the peace that is receiving. The river will simply merge into the great ocean, and the river does not fear the ocean." This is the ultimate relaxing lesson of tathata. You are the flow. You are not a static object that can be harmed by the future. You are the dynamic, continuous unfolding of life itself. The challenges of tomorrow, the uncertainties of next year, the final event of your life, they are not outside forces that will attack you. They are simply the next shape the river takes, and you will be that shape. To rest in this truth is to realize that you are always ready, you are always sufficient, you are always whole. The future cannot arrive as anything other than a present moment, and you are already a master of the present moment. You have lived an entire lifetime of them. Let your whole body yield now, completely and without resistance, to the support beneath you. Let your mind yield, completely and without resistance, to the silence of the unwritten future. If a whisper of fear arises, see it as a small eddy on the vast river's surface, a momentary swirl that has no power over the deep, quiet current below. Gently let it dissolve into the flow. You have set down the heavy raft. You have found the silence of the one hand. You have accepted the sufficiency of the empty bowl. You have settled into the stillness of the moonlight. Now, simply be the flow. Trust the deep, inherent wisdom of your being. Trust the intelligence of your life to meet whatever arises with the exact energy and resource needed, precisely when it is needed. Rest now in the absolute, unconditional peace of the present. The river is carrying you to the deepest, most restorative sleep. There is nowhere to go but here. There is nothing to do but rest. Let your final thoughts be simple, quiet gratitude for this moment of profound stillness. Deep, deep peace. Rest now. If these quiet reflections have brought comfort and ease to your spirit tonight, please consider subscribing to the Lotus Whisper channel. Your peaceful rest helps us share this calming wisdom with others seeking to let go of their burdens and find serenity on their journey to sleep.